believe in a creator source, and they all have souls. So
They?
extraterrestrials and interdimensionals,
So
they believe.
they aren't even, because I've always wondered if by solving one question, are we alone? Say we meet these ethereal, the beings you're
Mhm.
talking to, would we understand, would they know who the creator is? So you're saying no. They
Yes, they know
still,
that they creator source. They call they call it 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 is a very high consciousness. It is non-physical, but it's called the creator source. The creator source is what
so
they
there
want.
is something that
Yes,
there is something that
yes,
is larger than everything.
yes. And
Because
it's consciousness, but it could be a collection of all of us, all of our consciousness. I don't claim to know everything, but I know that it's consciousness. So
key consciousness. I think the whole key to this is
absolutely, frequency, consciousness, all that.
so
It all plays together. It's a beautiful thing, and it all makes sense. It's just I don't know why it's been so hard for us to figure out. Really,
well. You do you like when people see these craft in the sky?
yeah,
For instance, you said something earlier that kind of like, it's not depressing. I'm not going to say it's depressing, but you said earlier that when people see these things, it's meant for them.
yes,
So is there something special about certain people that they see things
yeah.
and
Well,
others that
you're
don't?
more in tune, and your frequency is higher, and that makes you that's your part of your evolution. This is part of your evolution. We don't all do things at the same path. We're all here on different spiritual paths, different goals, different things. So for many of us, we want to know more about, probably on a soul level, we want to know, well, for me, I've always wanted to know where my soul goes after I leave here. And now I know I'm going back, because in that reality, all of my family are still alive. And every time I'm on craft, they're standing around watching me and evaluating me and making decisions on how much longer I'm going to be here, because they didn't want me to come here to begin with for whatever reason. But I'm here and I'm doing it. But I know that my family is there and they're waiting on me, and I know that they're missing me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you, is that
And
is that how the go, because the paranormal side's always kind of, it's kind of been where I drew the line in the sand. Like, I can understand that we're not alone in the universe, but a ghost, like I have a very hard time with that kind of stuff. But there's been more that's convinced me as of late. What is the connection there to the extraterrestrial
I've
with the
seen a ghost
paranormal?
one time, and that's when I was working at Fort Benning, Georgia. And where I was living was off post, and it was close to Confederate battlefields. And, there was a big battle that happened all through there. And I was sitting outside with my German Shepherd dog, and all of a sudden, here comes a Confederate soldier walking across my backyard, and he has his gun with the bayonet slung over his shoulder, and he has like this little bucket pail thing slinging back and forth like a lunch pail, and he
Right.
has his cap on, and he's just marching along, and he takes no notice of me or the dog, and the dog just sits there watching him, and I just sit there and watch. I was not afraid at all, and that was my first experience seeing a ghost. It did not scare me. And we watched it go all the truck by himself all the way across the backyard. And then when he got behind a tree, I stood up and went and walked out to look, and he just disappeared. But
Do you think that that could be more of like an echo?
yes,
Because
like
it
a tear,
seems
maybe a tear in time. And I
where.
think that perhaps,
Thank you.
say, back in the old days, maybe they were seeing us. It's really strange. It's bizarre. It's like the further you get into this, the deeper and deeper it gets. There is
What a thought! I
Yeah,
never thought about that.
yeah,
That could be the reason that there's
yeah. We're seeing like ripples or tears
yeah,
in time. And so it's not that they're ghosts and maybe they're not dead. We're just seeing either the past or the future, Yeah.
right, right. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's such such a. Next time you talk to your friends, ask them about it.
So you would love talking to my son because he and I have all these deep, deep conversations.
I
Yeah,
could just do it for hours,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so okay, so when you worked with the army and when you were in that life,
yeah.
did anything, did you ever see anything that was, now that you thought on it, might have been out of place, out of character, anything suspicious? Does the DoD know more than they let on? What are you allowed to say?
Well, whenever we would have pilots, I worked with officers. And so whenever we'd have a pilot, I would ask them questions like, seen anything? Or, have you seen a UFO? Stuff like that, because they're laid back in the chair and relaxed. And and they were just like, oh, we can't really talk about stuff like that. And so I just kind of left it alone. But I tell you what I did experience,
Ooh,
having all these
story
different
time.
soldiers. Oh, break time?
No, I said story time.
Oh, story time. um, I would pick up on different frequencies on soldiers. Some soldiers, I could tell that they were an experiencer like me. I would pick up on their frequency. And it was almost as if I could tell because they would be laid back and I'd be sitting over them and I could sense the frequency difference, from just a regular person, but they would almost like blush because it was like they knew they were exposed, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So either they were extraterrestrial or either they were an experiencer like me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you heard me right. Either
I'm,
they were an extraterrestrial or an experiencer like me, a contactee like me, because their frequency was very high.
okay, so I gotta. I'm okay. I gotta ask. Are you insinuating that there may be non-humans a part of our government?
I don't know anything for a fact, and I don't pretend to know, but I do know that sitting in the chair, there was a frequency exchange. And I also have to tell you that just here in the area where I live, I've been in grocery stores and come across some extraterrestrials that were just shopping and just getting the human experience. It's not uncommon. They do that quite often. The humanoid looking ones do that because they can
Because
blend
they can
in
blend in,
easier.
yeah.
But
Makes sense.
the thing that always throws them off for me, I can feel their frequency, but they never get the clothes right. They never ever get the clothes right. There's always something off, and they look unusual. And usually they're taller or thinner. There's something about their physique that's
That
different. And
sticks
then
out.
yeah, yeah. But most people they don't look for things like that, so they just blend in.
No, they're so it's the famous thing, right?
Mhm.
Oh God, I can't remember, but it's like the tiger in the background where 99% of people don't see it because
Yeah.
they're not looking for it.
Sometimes if
Um,
it's right in your face, you never see it.
you'll never even know
Yeah,
because
because it's
you're
so natural and blends in, and you just
it's
assume it's you just assume it's like part of your everyday. But I
yeah,
feel the frequency. I can feel their frequency.
that's amazing. So if you think, do you, do you think, how many of you are there out there, do you think, that are consciously aware that they are part of this program, not program,
I don't know, to be honest with
initiative?
you. I used to think there would be a lot, but now the more that I am around more and more, I
How many
think that they
frauds are there?
distance us. I think that we're in distant parts to reach. If they're doing what I'm doing, they have us like in regional areas, most likely. And at some point, I feel like it's inevitable that we all meet because it is our frequencies, if we all come together, that will help elevate the planet's frequency. And that's part of why we're here. We are elevating Earth. We are here as a representative pushing towards this, and we are helping to encourage people to raise their frequency, but also when people are around us, we can naturally raise people's frequency just from being around us and stuff. And when we get together, it's pretty powerful.
And right, and I think for the listener, everyone has this person that they know, that when they're in the room with this person, when they're around this person, when this person walks in to any place they go, that
the frequency,
they change the attitude,
atmosphere, frequency, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
exactly. And everybody knows that has at least one of those in their life. So everybody knows what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. And they could be sleepers. They may not come to grips with who they are. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is at a different pace. And just because I incarnated here, somebody else may have incarnated here, and they may not fully have the full understanding of it, even though I was told at different parts of my life to get me prepared for this. But that doesn't mean, you know, and they finally had to do a Kundalini awakening on me, like, bam, blonde, wake up, you know. But I'm just saying, everybody's at a different level of getting this. It is not easy. And you have to understand the world around us influences us on how we accept these things too, because we are here having a human experience. We have families, a husband, wife, children, grandchildren, sisters, brothers, family, mothers, and dads, and we want to be loved and respected by them. And sometimes our family is not in favor of these things.
No.
And that makes it really hard. It makes it really hard. And I've experienced that. So I understand, you know, it's not easy to put yourself out there and say, hey, this is who I am and this is what I experience. And, you know, it's hard. It's not easy.
Hard.
Yeah.
It's not. And
it's just like your story. I'm sure you're careful about who you say what your story to, you know?
Yeah. Let's just say I haven't told the whole thing.
Yeah.
To anybody.
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
But there are aspects to it that, you know, I'd love to know more about. And you know, you talk about this negative force that's upon humanity, or that has the ability to affect humanity.
Yeah.
Dr. Greer and people that come from that side of this topic seem to think that any extraterrestrial or interdimensional being or anything, it's always going to be something good. What is
I believe
the bad?
that too. I believe that too.
Then what is the bad?
What is the bad? Our perception, our lack of understanding what is happening. It is our perception. And that's why I truly believe evolution is inevitable, because that's what it's going to take for humanity to understand and realize there's things around us that we just never saw before, you know, and our understanding of things are based on a lot of the programming from our birth. So we have to learn to open our eyes and be more receptive to things. So the negative beings that are on our planet right now are human beings. Humans are the negative. There's a human dark force that's where the negativity, and they don't want us to ascend because they lose control. And this is also a way that they control our population, our air, our food, our water. Everything has toxins in it to keep our pineal glands shrunk down and to keep us from reaching higher intelligence, which is ascension or higher consciousness.
Right.
Because we are easy to control at a dumbed down rate. And so they put all these chemicals and things in all our things, in our media. Everything is negative. and owned by certain corporations